So it is a Friday morning and I'm driving to the gym, and I'm going to answer a question from George from Bulgaria. His question is, he's competed before and he's getting ready for a really big competition coming up. And he says that his nerves are just out of control right now. He's not sure really what to do with them. He said he doesn't get that nervous for the smaller competitions, but for this big one, he's really, really nervous. And so he's wondering what he can do to get a grip on it. And when I asked George, I said, man, like, what's bothering you? What's like when you think about the competition, what's going through your head that's making you so anxious? And he listed just a laundry list of things, everything from being overpowered by his opponents to being locked up and submitted. So it's nothing in particular, it's just all over the place, which is just a sign of just being overly anxious and a bit stressed out. And so I'm going to give you guys a couple tips that I gave to George. And also, the reason I'm driving is because I can't walk around outside in the gym. Today it's too cold. It's like 20 degrees right now, Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in Celsius offhand. And the gym is just always so busy. We're always packed. Usually the videos that I do with you guys, they're in early mornings or the evenings after everybody's left. So to go to George's question, how to deal with this anxiety that he's dealing with before a big competition, I'm going to share like what one of my boxing coaches shared with me years ago. So when I first started boxing to get ready for mixed martial arts competitions, I absolutely hated it. Naturally, I was a grappler. I wrestled in high school, loved Jiu-Jitsu. I was a grappler through and through. When I started boxing, I just didn't, no one likes it, but I just didn't deal well with getting punched at first. And I remember I would get gun shy. I would basically walk around like when we were training, in the ring. I would walk around my hands up, and I really wouldn't throw anything because I didn't want to get hit. And I became a walking punching bag. So my coach came up to me one day and he's like, "Look, man, two things are going to happen when you box. One, you're going to get hit. Two, you're going to get hit and you're going to hit them back." And then he sort of ended it with, if you're going to get hit, you might as well hit them too. And, I kind of thought about that. I was like, okay. And so taking that mindset really helped me deal with it. So when I started boxing, I would just bite my mouthpiece down and say, well, I'm going to get hit. I might as well throw a punch and not, get some too. And so the first piece of advice that I would share with you, George, is obviously getting nervous is normal. You're supposed to be nervous. The stress that you get from, the jitters for competition can help you rise to the occasion, but you don't want to go too far on that. But as far as being nervous about being locked up and submitted or overpowered, whatever, again, man, you can't focus on that stuff because you really don't have any control over what's going to happen in the future. It's going to happen, right? So instead, just think about it like this. Just like the analogy that I had from my boxing coach, when you're going up against your opponent, they're going to use their techniques against you, right? They're going to try to beat you. And if you don't do anything, you'll be like I was in boxing, which when I first started, which was a walking punching bag, right? Getting hit. Or they're going to use their techniques against you, and you can use your techniques against them, and then you got a fighting chance. And even if you don't win, you can still keep them honest, and you can make them fight for it, right? Just like in the boxing analogy, right? If you're going to get hit, you might as well hit them too. And then the second piece of advice that I would give to you is to end the negative self-talk that you're having, because right now you're getting nervous, and then you're thinking about what if this happens, and what if this happens, and your mind's just spiraling into this negative loop. And this is why I think it's really important to have some game plan. You don't have to have an exact every move is lined up, but you need to at least have some idea of how you're going to start the match off. So this way, when you're getting into that negative, all of a sudden you see that negative feeling creep up in your brain, you can start to think about, okay, screw that. I'm not worried about what that guy's going to do. What am I going to do? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to hit this guard pull. I'm going to hit this takedown. I'm going to do this, that, whatever. And so when you start to feel that negative sort of self-talk, that negative imagery come up in your brain, George, go back in your brain, go back in your thoughts, and start to think about, okay, screw that. Don't think about that. What am I going to do? How am I going to win this match, right? What kind of takedowns am I going to use? What kind of guard pulls? What kind of sweeps? What kind of submissions? Whatever it is that you plan to do when you compete, and just visualize that stuff over and over and over again. Don't make any room. Get rid of the room in your thoughts for any negative stuff, because it'll be too filled with the thoughts of you executing techniques, you winning the match, this sort of thing. And just do that stuff over and over and over again. Train your body that anytime you feel that negative sort of feeling creep up, just immediately visualize what you're going to do, and then that to me, like at least from my experience, that helps me out a lot when I get ready for competitions, because I'm naturally a really anxious person, and so I can get caught up in that negative sort of loop pretty easily. So by visualizing constantly and training my body to do that, it makes it so much easier for me to go out there and compete effectively, instead of going out there and being frozen by anxiety, fear, or just like worry of losing. So I think that's it. George, I hope this video helps you. And guys, I'll talk to you next time.